Okay. Now, in this session, session 2, we are going to do listening and speaking part. For listening purpose, I have selected this video for you, in which you will see the vocabulary in context. All right. So you can see on the screen there is the transcript of Bill Gates' speeches on the screen, and as well as there are few gaps, few blanks, in which you will hear, you will listen to the word, and then you will write in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and let me know that what you heard. Okay. 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 All right. Now, am I audible to you, all of you? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you so much. Now, I'm playing this video for you, and you will have to. So I was just giving you a brief, introduction to this video. That this video and this, TED Talk basically is a wonderful platform where you will find hundreds and thousands of lectures available, and on different subjects of the world. Like you name any, like you name, and it is there. Like about career, about education, about science, about fortune, and you will find amazing lectures there by people around the world, and it will give you a wonderful language exposure. You will all the lectures are in because in English and with subtitles, so you will definitely be building up your vocabulary skills. Asad Ali asked me that how to improve vocabulary, so Asad Ali, these are some great websites which are available for you, where you can go and listen to the lecture of your interest. If you want to hear about career, if you want to know about education in the world, if you want to know about science and technology, so just click any of the videos and the lectures, and with subtitles, so you will not only be having an amazing listening exposure, as well as you will be getting thousands of new words, which will be a great addition in your vocabulary list. All right. uh, in this video, the our main objective is vocabulary in context. So you will listen to his speech, and then these are the spaces on the screen. You can see the gaps. I will click this, you will listen to the word, and you will write in the chat box, or you can also unmute yourself and speak, and I'll write and check whether it is right or not. So let's begin.
When I was a kid, the disaster we worried about most was a nuclear war. That's why we had a barrel like this down in our basement, filled with cans of food and water. When the nuclear attack came, we were supposed to go downstairs, hunker down, and eat out of that barrel. Today, the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this. Instead, it looks like this. If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war. Not missiles, but microbes. Now, part of the reason for this is that we have invested a huge amount in nuclear deterrence.
Okay, by the way, are you getting what is he saying and talking about? Yes, Asad Ali, are you getting what he has just said in his last 1 minute speech? What is he talking about? Yeah, Abdullah Junejo. Okay, he's saying yes. All right, what is he talking about? What is this lecture all about? Can you please unmute yourself and just share your views?
But we've actually invested very little in a system to stop an epidemic. We're not ready for the next epidemic. Let's look at Ebola. I'm sure all of you read about it in the newspaper. Lots of tough challenges. I followed it carefully through the case analysis tools we use to track polio eradication. And as you look at what went on, the problem wasn't that there was a system that didn't work well enough. The problem was that we didn't have a system at all. In fact, there are some pretty obvious key missing pieces. We didn't have a group of epidemiologists ready to go who would have gone, seen what the disease was, see how far it had spread. The case reports came in on paper. It was very delayed before they were put online, and they were extremely inaccurate. We didn't have a medical team ready to go. We didn't have a way of preparing people. Now, Médecins Sans Frontières did a great job orchestrating volunteers, but even so, we were far slower than we should have been getting the thousands of workers into these countries. And a large epidemic would require us to have hundreds of thousands of workers. There was no one there to look at treatment approaches, no one to look at the diagnostics, no one to figure out what tools should be used. As an example, we could have taken the blood of survivors, processed it, and put that plasma back in people to protect them. Some tough challenges. I followed it carefully through the...
Okay, now I'm just going to, click this blank, space, and then please let me know if you can, what word did you hear? Okay.
The case analysis tools we use to...
Okay, what did he say? I followed it carefully through the case. What is the word that he has
Some
used?
tough challenges. I followed it carefully through the case analysis tools we use to... Some tough challenges. I followed it carefully through...
Okay. Sidra is saying analysis. Very nice, Sidra.
Some tough challenges.
Right,
I followed it carefully through the case analysis tools we use to...
Okay. Well done, Sidra. Well done. Thank you so much. Now, from here onwards, you will listen to the words and I'll ask you that what did you hear, okay? Yeah.
Track polio eradication. And as you look at what went on, the problem wasn't that there was a system that didn't work well enough. The problem was that we didn't have a system at all. In fact, there are some pretty obvious key missing pieces. We didn't have a group of epidemiologists ready to go who would have gone, seen what the disease was, see how far it had spread. The case reports came in on paper. It was very delayed before they were put online, and they were extremely inaccurate. We didn't have a medical team ready to go. We didn't have a way of preparing people. Now, Médecins Sans Frontières did a great job orchestrating volunteers, but even so, we were far slower than we should have been getting the thousands of workers into these countries. And a large epidemic would require us to have hundreds of thousands of workers. There was no one there to look at treatment approaches. There was no one there...
Yeah, what did you hear? There was no one there to look at treatment? What is the word?
Treatment approaches.
Yeah, treatment, yes, please.
Approaches.
Approaches. Rimsha, wonderful, wonderful.
There was no one there to look at treatment approaches. No one to look at the diagnosis.
Well done, Sidra. Great, great. Approaches, Abdullah Junejo, thanks very much. All right, so these are the words which we, contextual understanding of vocabulary that we use in our day-to-day life and where to use them in the context. All right, now.
Diagnostics, no one to figure out what tools should be used. As an example, we could have taken the blood of survivors, processed it, and put that plasma, blood of survivors, processed it, and put that...
Yeah, what did you hear? What did he say? No one figured out what tools should be used. As an example, we could have taken the blood of survivors and...
Process it.
And process. Okay, Rimsha is saying
process it, I think.
Okay, process it. Okay, Asad is saying process it. Okay, let's...
Blood of survivors, process it, and put that plasma back in people to protect them. But that was never tried.
Okay, well done, wonderful, that's great. I'm so delighted. Thank you so much. Just listen a little more, and then we'll move towards the exercises. Yeah.
So there was a lot that was missing, and these things are really a global failure. The WHO is funded to monitor epidemics, but not to do these things I talked about. Now in the movies, it's quite different. There's a group of handsome epidemiologists ready to go. They move in, they save the day, but that's just pure Hollywood. The failure to prepare could allow the next epidemic to be dramatically more devastating than Ebola. Let's look at the progression of Ebola over this year. About 10,000 people died, and nearly all were in the 3 West African countries. There's 3 reasons why it didn't spread more. The first is there was a lot of heroic work by the health workers. They found the people and they prevented more infections.
Okay, so I think that it is the lecture. I would like you to listen to it because it is very relevant to the current situation of coronavirus. This is the global pandemic, and this was predicted by uh, Bill Gates sometimes, I think, back in 2015 or 16. This is the TED talk which he gave around some 4 or 5 years ago, and then in which he has clearly mentioned that now in the world doesn't need any weapons or nuclear weapons, because the wars will not be now fought by weapons but by microbes. So this is an interesting lecture and the talk which I really like, and I would recommend you to please go and watch it fully. It is amazing. Let's move towards the exercises. Okay, let's do the exercises of should and should have, the topic which we have covered. All right, you can see exercise 1, and I want everyone you to be, so interactive and participative. All right, so the exercise 1 is, for each situation, write a sentence which should or shouldn't. And you can see there is a box uh, on at the top, and you will see there are some options already. Some vocabulary and some situations are given to you. What you need to do, you need to read the sentence and the situation, and then select and pick the right one, which goes with the situation. Like, what suggestion would you like to give from the options which are provided to you in the box? All right, so let's begin. Okay, and you can write not only in the chat box, you can also unmute yourself and answer me. So I'll endorse whether it is right or not. The first example, Anna needs a change. So what should she do? She should go away for a few days. All right. So see, look at this. This first, sentence and this first suggestion from the box has already been taken. Now, sentence number 2. Your salary is very low. What advice would you give to that person? And choose the advice from this box. Stay up so late, take a picture, worry so much, look for another job, put some pictures on the walls.
You should look for another job.
You should look for another job. Okay, correct answer, because look for
Yes,
means search. This is the phrasal verb. This is phrasal verb. Look for means search. Look for another job means search for another job. Okay, thank you. And number 3, Jack always finds it hard to get up. Yes. Jack always
He shouldn't
finds
stay up so late.
Okay, he shouldn't stay up so late.
Yes, ma'am.
Exactly. That is the right answer. Very nice. Okay, what a beautiful view. Number 4, what a beautiful view. All right, when you look at something beautiful, what will
We
you
should
do?
put some pictures on the wall. On the
Okay.
wall.
Okay, put some pictures on the wall.
No,
Or,
no, ma'am. I think you should take a picture.
You should take a picture. Perfect. Yes, you should take a picture is right. Okay. Okay. Laura is always anxious. Anxious means restless and worried. Okay. So Laura is always anxious.
She shouldn't worry so much.
Okay. She shouldn't worry so much. This is negative. Like you are giving someone advice or suggestion, which is in negative sentence. Okay. Dance room isn't very nice. Like, it's not so decorative. It's not very nice. What suggestion would you give? I think one last option is remaining.
He should put some pictures on the walls.
He should put some pictures on the walls. Nice. Thank you so much. Okay, let's do exercise number 2. It is interesting. Okay, complete the sentences and choose from. Okay, again, you have already some options given in the box. Okay, so just read the sentence carefully and pick the appropriate advice from the box. Helen has been studying hard, so she should pass the exam. Now, Sentence number 2. Joe hasn't arrived yet, but he. Okay, just look at the options that are given to you in the box in this exercise here, right? And can you just pick one suggestion that you would like to give to Joe? Joe hasn't arrived yet, but he